Yo, what's happening everybody, King GBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Go Bat League video. Today I'm going to be showcasing just a team I sort of threw together in the Ultra League, featuring SANDSLASH lead, Jellicent and Charizard. This team is a little bit weak to a lot of things. We're kind of like ABA weak to Swampert here, and we're pretty much ABA weak to Scrafty. Scrafty does a lot of work against this team, so definitely two very big weaknesses there, but you're going to see in this video that we overcame a few of them. And actually in this video today, I just got completely hard countered left, right and centre. I played about 15 games in Ultra League, and I picked up about at least 11 or 12 bad leads. I was very, very unlucky today. I seen a couple of Scrafties, or if I didn't pick up a bad lead, I had pretty RPS backlines, but still managed to win quite a lot. I think I've been positive with this team overall, just slightly positive. To be honest with you, I'm re-recording this video because I recorded this already, and I just cooked. Like, I went all in. I don't think it's necessarily good content. It's probably very entertaining, but it's not the type of content I want to make, where I completely go off the handle ranting about the game. But I do want to say some things today, so let me know if you do prefer the more raw commentaries whenever it comes to some issues that we're facing in the game and things like that. So this game, we end up CMPing in the Ice Punch. I know that I can live this move, and we farmed him down so far here that we can actually get a farm down with Charizard, and suddenly this really bad position could be very positive. We're up a shield, we swap straight out, don't let them farm you down. We'll get some energy in Charizard, and the Swampert still has a little bit of residual energy, I believe. They're going to, one more mud shot, so they should be probably like free off the move. Now in this situation, not having a Shadow Charizard is working out a lot better, because as you can see, 2 Blast Burns do not quite one-shot it, but it'll leave it in a range where I can eat a future side because I'm non-shadow, and actually get a perfect farm down in Cresselia to land the Blast Burn on Swampert. So as you're seeing, we're hard countered in the lead. We had a bad swap, and this Cresselia would have done a lot of work against our Jellicent, so pretty much an entire hard counter team, but we come out with a victory, and that's why you don't just top left whenever you see a bad lead. I want to give my thoughts and opinions on Go Battle League. I seem to always do this in Ultra League, but like I said, today I was super tilted. I've had a pretty rough week or so, just going back and forth. Pretty much like I was gaining a lot of elo in the Great League using that broken team with Trevenant or Medicham lead with Carbink and Reggie in the back. And I did want to swap it up and switch it up and try to make some content, because I've really sort of switched my focus a little bit away from making content and more for gaining elo. To be honest with you, it's just super frustrating playing like that, and it's not really why I started making YouTube videos. Like, I wanted to make interesting content, not just sit there and sweat the game out. So it's kind of been a shift in focus. I'm just a super competitive person in general. So for me, like, I just hate losing. Like, you guys don't realize how much I hate losing. I'm super competitive, and, because I hit Legend for the first time last season, I want to try and hit it this season a little bit earlier than Catch Cup. That was my first time hitting Expert and Legend last season, so I want to try and get it done, at least a couple of weeks before the season finishes, and I can consider that to be progress, and, be happy with that. I got up to 2710 elo with that sweaty team, and then started running Clefable, and I just get absolutely shit on. I just get shit on. I was trying my best to hit Expert with a fun, interesting team, because nobody wants to watch Carbink for the third time in a row, like 3 videos in a row. So I just kind of dropped down to like the mid to low 2600s, and for the last 5 or 6 days I've been just up and down. I've been playing that RPS Fossil Cup, which for some reason this season, every cup that's terrible seems to be getting a 2-week run. The single type cup, of course we have the Fossil Cup, which I mean, like, the developers know it's an RPS Cup, they played it last season. Like, I guess it lines up pretty well with the Adventure Week we have currently, but I think we definitely could have had 2 weeks of Great League Remix, and then a week of Fossil Cup over Adventure Week. It would have made a lot more sense to me. We do seem to be getting these pretty terrible cups this season, and I think generally the interest in Go Battle League has went down quite a lot this season. Definitely, it was pretty interesting and hype for the first sort of week or two, but then, people sort of realized, okay, it's just kind of the same, there's a few extra Pokemon here and there, but it's just pretty much the same. And I'm sure some of you probably watched that interview with Michael Starenka, who's dev at Niantic. I think he takes care of the PvP side of stuff. Don't know exactly what his position is, but he seems to be in charge of PvP, and of course some of the other features in the game. He talked about this season being more about introducing new features into the game for the actual overall game as opposed to PvP, because the infrastructure around PvP got quite a lot of updates. Of course, last season was a very, very boring and terrible season with barely any move updates. This season, to be fair, like, there was quite a lot of decent stuff. We're getting a pretty decent community day here with Poliwrath, and Haxorus was quite interesting for sure. So we've definitely seen like some interesting stuff, but nothing that's been really shifting the meta too much. The only thing that's really shifted the meta this season has been Carbink, which of course is pay to win. It kind of sickens me that, the pay to win Pokemon are the good Pokemon, and, some of the Pokemon are interesting, like Poliwrath's going to be cool, it's interesting, Haxorus is cool and interesting, but it's not really going to shift things. It's not going to be insta-meta, so it really is quite sickening that whenever PvP updates do happen, they're behind paywalls most of the time, which is kind of, leaning into the pay to win side of things a little bit more. So right here, the opponent comes into Cresselia, and they're going to see the writing on the wall here. 2 blast burns takes them out, as you've seen earlier, or just about takes them out, and we can live Future Sight. I'm guessing the opponent probably doesn't have Future Sight, or they might have tried to play it out, but good games nonetheless there. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on that, man. Like, I was using Carbine to try and sweat it out, but like I said, it's just such a boring Pokemon to use. I don't really like playing like that. We failed to catch the Earthquake, or the Hydro Cannon, and we are going to catch the Earthquake. I'm happy to eat it, because Jelly do be thick though, and in comes Walrein, and at this point we can get this thing super low. We're ahead in energy. These Shadow Balls are going to rip through this fluffy Walrus here, and we've got such attack weight that, yeah, this is going to be looking good. Boom, it's putting it in a perfect farm down range. So like, very negative lead with Swampert, but we're going to be able to get a farm down with Sandslash, and at least we're going to get some sort of use out of it. In those situations where you get a hard counter lead, and like maybe a hard counter swap or whatever, that's what you really have to do. I know this is going to be just an Icicle Spear. I didn't want to eat it in Charizard, that's why I came in here. Yeah, so in those situations, you have to take some sort of an advantage, whether it be energy advantage, shield advantage. You need to try and get something out of it. And at this point, the opponent shields up the first one. We do end up CMPing on the second one. But here's the thing, guys. I know I can live this move. Boom. This is a little bit thicker in the Ultra League, and we're going to look to fire off this Ice Punch. Even though I was getting hard countered left and right, I found this Pokemon pretty impressive. It was putting out a lot of damage, and it's a unique core breaker in this league, beating things like Giratina, Cresselia, and a lot of the top meta. The opponent makes a nice catch in Charizard here, but this is perfectly fine by me. We've got 2 shields, the opponent has 1. And at this point, if they shield it up, I'm going to be 2 shields up against the Swampert. We CMP the opponent on 6, which I know cannot be a Blast Burn, and even if it is, I'm going to live it. You can see that they can live it, therefore I can live it, and the opponent cannot Mudshot us down. They do have residual energy on the other thing, and I need to either farm it down or get up to back-to-back Dragon Claws. I'm thinking going for back-to-back is better, because I don't want to give them a chance to get to the move by throwing a move myself, so I'm just going to commit to the farm down. And that one last wing attack that went through will take them out, and that's a good game. Hard counter lead, but we still won. And that's definitely going to be a theme of today's video. I got hard countered so much today, like it was super sickening, and that's why I got super tilted. I went 4-1 on that set, and I did get hard countered on a couple of the matches, but the hard counters do get worse, don't worry folks. The amount of Verizon leads I seen today was kind of ridiculous. This Marl hates me as well. You know, just to really rub the salt in the wound here, Marl doesn't even like me, like, and we've got Evil Elo here, like everything's just going wrong. Let's see, Sandslash versus Verizon. I think I seen like 6 or 7 Verizon leads today. Ridiculous. Like, honestly, like, I don't like talking about the algorithm anymore because it's so divisive, right? But like, I have not seen a single, and I mean like in the entire last rotation of Ultra League, I did not see a single Verizon lead. Like, that is not a common lead. I don't care what anybody tells me. It's just super annoying. And you know my opinions, right? Like, if you get a bad lead, try play it out, try get an advantage, try to win, don't give up. Like, that is the most important mindset and mentality to have. It just pisses me off. That's it. Like, it literally just pisses me off. It's like, oh, here we go. We're getting fucking Verizon leads. Like, it just pisses me off. That's it. I don't use it as a way to make a victim of myself like some people like to do. Because that's the worst thing you can possibly do. You're putting power into something that's out of your control. Do not do that. We're going to try and get something out of this, and as you've seen here, we're coming in with Charizard and looking to potentially try and sweep this game with this thing. Now, I'm hoping and praying that this thing goes for Dark Pulse, but of course you guys know this thing, it goes for bloody debuffs, because why would they not? And I can't really even afford to let that debuff go, because it's going to put them in a position where they can look to just take me out. You know, so like that acid spray damage would actually add up. It's a super annoying position to be in. So I'm basically trying to get out of here with a little bit of energy, and trying to get off a move on the Verizon. I'm going to insta-swap because I'll be super low here. I throw after 1 and CMP on the Ice Punch here, which is about best case scenario. That does a lot of damage. The opponent lets it go because they know that we have a Blast Burn loaded. Secret Sword coming through. Will 2 Dragon Claws be enough, or will we even get to 2 Dragon Claws? This is going to be super close. There's supposed to be a new mechanic in this game where if you click the charge move, as their fast moves going through, you're supposed to get it off. I don't think that Dragon Claw would have taken it out anyway, but I think it's just another example of the inconsistent mechanics that this game has currently got. I think this season we've seen probably more one-turn lag, laggy bubbles, frame drops, and generally just a lot of server and connection issues. A lot more so than we've had in any previous season. I respected the first move, but I think they didn't even have Stone Edge. Every Verizon I seen today was on Leaf Blade. After they fired off the first one, they just went straight Secret Sword. So at that point I knew I was comfortable enough to farm it down, and we're going to look to get off a ton of energy in Gira, and hopefully even bank some energy for a little bit later on in the match. I think just in general, the entire season has been frustrating. The move update was quite interesting at the beginning of the season, I thought. Like, it was quite good with Sandslash, of course Dugong. Dugong is such an annoying Pokemon to deal with because it's so bulky. It goes for debuffs and now drill runs, which can beat lanterns pretty much. Super annoying Pokemon. Noctowl just got wrecked, but Lantern is just basically all-powerful, and Medicham is all-powerful in the league. So they've kind of just made some of the problems worse with the move update in a way, by just giving so much more power to Medicham, now that Noctowl's out of the scene, and Lantern just has a lot of power with the move update. So it's kind of terrible, and of course with Carbink coming in, Lantern is going to be everywhere as well, to kind of counter that Pokemon. And you know, Medicham again, it's still like a bad matchup for Medicham against Carbink, but it's not so terrible that it's going to, you know, kill it in the meta. We did have, of course, Zygarde, which they added roots into the game, and the roots were broken, or like there's just not enough roots to begin with, or not everybody can submit their own roots. So like that's kind of shit. Like, why added this new Pokemon in this way if you're not going to do it properly? Once again, we get a terrible lead, swap into Jelly, they come into Ampharos. Worst lead, worst swap, like pretty much hard counter lead, hard counter swap. Like, I don't know how I win this game, but let's see how we go. I could have YOLO'd the Shadow Ball. I thought they were certainly going to shield that, because this thing is quite glassy, but maybe they've played this match before, and maybe it is a win condition for Jellicent to land the bait. So yeah, maybe that's something that they knew that I didn't know. But yeah, let the Surf go, and I'm going to try to, at the very least, get 2 shields off the opponent, and come in and get a huge farm down with Ampharos. Ice Punches do a decent amount of damage to Virizion, so that's kind of like my win condition, that Ampharos is my hardest answer to Charizard. So that's a good thing about Jelly. We're drawing out the hardest answer to Charizard potentially, and we're just hoping that Charizard can sweep something in the back here, and look to get off a move on Virizion as well. I was trying to get in there and snipe it before they got off one more Volt Switch, but I wasn't able to. We swap out, and the opponent makes a quick swap as well into a Walrein. Now in the Zero Shield, this is pretty close, to be fair. Like 2 Icicle Spears will just about take us out, I think. Or, well, yeah, will just about take us out. So I'm going to look to not CMP them. I want to try and get off both moves here. A Blast Burn and a Dragon Claw. If I see them, CMP them, of course, that's not going to work. And we get off this on CMP as well. Now what I decided to do is go for an Undercharge here, a very sneaky Undercharge. But the opponent thought, oh, Undercharge. I'm going to go for one for myself, and this is a smart play by the opponent, because if they just take us out, we get a ton of farm and Sandslash, and they won't get to an Earthquake in time. They do get, maybe they would have got to an Earthquake actually, but they do get to an Icicle Spear, which is of course not threatening. We throw after one for good timing, and we're going to look to fire this off on CMP. They're in the yellow. Will this Ice Punch actually take them out, and can we farm down the Walrein? No, just about not. Unfortunate, but you know, I feel like for a bad lead and a bad swap, that's about as good as I could have made it, or as close as I could have made it. Definitely my team composition's pretty bad, but I think like it's the amount of these bad leads is unreal. I did start getting Scrafty in the final set as well. It's like first set I was getting Swamperts and Virizions, second set Virizions, third set I started getting Scrafties. This is actually, I think, a positive lead for me, but I don't necessarily want to go down 2 shields or anything here. So I'm going to throw this off just before they reach the Blast Burn. I'm going to throw 1 Shadow Claw because they probably throw after 1. It's normally like what people do. We catch the Blast Burn, and they're actually overfarmed by 1. So they're 5 off another Blast Burn, and in comes Umbreon. Pretty terrible swap for me. Maybe I could have just stayed in and tried to RPS the opponent. If I shield that Blast Burn, like I'm in a really good position there, where I definitely outpace them. Like I can just shield once and probably farm them the whole way down. But with teams like this, and with Pokemon like Scrafty, or Scrafty is in my mind now, Sandslash and Charizard, you generally do want to dance around, eat damage on different things, maintain shields as much as possible, and try to keep energy and try to use it to snipe things in the end. And you know, the energy on Sandslash and Charizard are the most valuable assets. Now speaking of energy, the opponent I think farmed up to 8 Snarls, which is 2 foul plays and a bit. The opponent is throwing instantly, which is allowing me to get free wing attacks, which is definitely useful in this situation. They're not optimizing anything here. Now I need to get an overfarm because we're still in a very tough position here. So I'm going to shield this once and look to CMP the Umbreon or try to do something. The opponent comes back in with Charizard. I guess they want to eat the energy in Charizard, but they shield it up, which is kind of weird, and we get to another one straight away. So I'm more than happy with that. This will take them out from this range. Boom. Good night, Charizard. And we'll see what the opponent comes back in with. They're about, I think, 3 Snarls off the move. So 1, 2. Okay. So I decided I want to try and catch a foul play because they're staying in and they came back in with Umbreon. So it suggests they're weak in the back. We're going to try and get a nice big farm here. We throw in good timing just in case the opponent does decide to shield up again because they maybe are super weak. The fact they're not swapping is just so suspicious in this situation. I YOLO the Drill Run first time because I don't think they shield the first one. Boom. They know we've got a Charizard. And look at these Shadow Claws add up on this Cresselia. Now I'm going to shield up the Moonblast and we basically have to make a catch. If we can catch and CMP, this would be amazing. So I do throw a move here because I expect them to shield this up here. And if you just farm up to 7, it's so obvious that you're going to go for the catch. but we throw one more Shadow Claw, go for the catch. Moonblast is 776, the opponent should be dry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I believe it's 6 here. They're not going for Grass Knot. They might be on future side. So this will be either 6 for the Moonblast, which would take us out at this range. So I think the opponent was probably on future side, which is probably a little bit lucky. I think a Grass Knot, even though I was, resisted and everything, I think that would have taken us out. Interesting match. Greedent is a bit awkward. I probably could come into Charizard, but it knows Crunch and Body Slam, and it's so spammy that I don't really want to eat the moves on Charizard either. So we eat the first Crunch, of course, to get the defense drop. Super annoying. I actually got 3 defense drops in a row, which is a 2.7% chance of happening. If you win so it's 30%. A 30% chance happening 3 times in a row is 2.7%. Like, that's how bad this game is trying to fuck me today. It was definitely very, very rough, and like I said, I was getting super tilted, which has kind of led me to do this commentary, where I do want to talk a little bit more about what annoys me about the game today, because I'm definitely in the mood for that kind of talk. But we're going to try and take this out, and maybe try to RPS the opponent. Like, we're down a shield, but we're still taking this out. So, I mean, I guess overall, like, that's not really that terrible of a match. Galarian Weezing comes in, and I don't even go for this with the shield, because I know it could be maybe a drill run. We're looking to get off another move, and I'm thinking here this could be very, very useful. It's going to be very hard for them to farm us down with Fairy Wind. We're going to get off one more drill run on this thing to look to threaten the final shield or knock it out. Boom, and we're going to come into Charizard. The worst they can throw at us is usually Brutal Swing, and in comes Gira, which is a little bit awkward. Hopefully they're not on Ancient Power. We'll have to see here. Yep, so this comes through. I'm going to look to fire off yet another Dragon Claw and CMP. The opponent overfarmed a little bit too much, and we're just praying this is not Ancient Power. I think from my perspective, I probably could have known the Greedent match a little bit better. I don't think I want to swap into Jelly, but it seems swapping Charizard is never really great either. I think, had I not got the defense drop, I could have let the second move go and just played out the zeros, which would leave me with an extra shield in this scenario, which would be a lot more useful, I think, than, that having that extra health there. Or I think it would be on like a similar amount of health even. I think Galarian Weezing, of course it knows Brutal Swing, but I'm not sure if that would even two-shot the Jelly to be, yeah, like, look at that. It's not even two-shotting the Jelly. Now, I'm not counting correctly here. This is another misplay by me, because if I was counting correctly, I could be looking to, maybe look to catch the next move. Maybe go for back-to-back Surf. I was going to catch after this Hex, but they're already at the move. So, good game to the opponent. Now, can we actually still get to the move, though? Because Fairy Wind is so hard to farm stuff down with. 1, 2, 3, 4. We get the simul KO. It was definitely an awkward match, because Greedent does beat Sandslash. So, like, they could have RPS'd us some way or another. But, I think it was a pretty even match, so they probably could have won. So this game, our nightmares came true. We got the Scrafty lead, and, I was hoping they would still stay in against Jellicent, but apparently they've got 2 Darks. So I'm thinking this is just like a triple Dark team, like double Poison Dark in the back, which is just going to shit all over me here. There's not really much I can do. Yeah, CMP me. Good game. I think I just cut this out because this is good game. Like, I don't even see their last Pokemon, because I farm up to try and like take them out. I'm thinking, okay, Crunch, Sludge Bomb, for sure. Nope, Aqua Tail. So yeah, there's nothing I can do at this point. The opponent's going to get my shields. I can't really afford to go for an overfarm. And I think the opponent actually shields back on the Blast Burn here too. I don't think a Dragon Claw would have quite taken them out. Yeah, so yeah, unlucky, GG. And let's hop into the next one. It definitely is days like this where you get all this, and like, I know that I've improved a lot as a player, and I know a lot of you guys are making conscious efforts to improve. It's days like this where you're getting all these fucking Virizions, all these Scrafties, all this bullshit that you just kind of don't want to bother. But the opponent makes a bit of a mistake here, and there is some light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to go for a Surf. That gets them down to like 50%. I don't really know the counts for Meteor Beam. I thought it was 8, but the opponent, I think they threw the second one a little bit sooner. I'm actually going to have a look here, because it's probably useful information to know. People will be running it, of course, because it is spawning in the wild here at the moment. And it is quite a good Pokemon, by the looks of things. Yeah, it's 8-7 for the Meteor Beam. So they threw the second one a little bit faster. So I thought, okay, it might not be the Meteor Beam, or maybe it's like a Panic Throw. Because they did Panic Swap, so I was thinking, okay, Panic Throw. And I think I can live it on Jelly anyway. Now we can get to a Shadow Ball, the opponent realizes it, and they go for CMP. Now this is super valuable information. The opponent goes for Leaf Blade. Usually, like 9 out of 10 times, it is never Leaf Blade and Stone Edge. They need Secret Sword. So yep, Secret Sword coming through, and the opponent swaps out to Walrein. We're going to look to YOLO the Blast Burn here. It'll get them down to roughly about 50%, and we're going to look to catch a move on the Sandslash. At this point, the opponent has seen enough. They see the proverbial writing on the proverbial wall, and that is a good game, very well played. So once again, we just overcame a bad match. And this match, I'm not going to play this out fully, but I just want to show you this, right? So this is a positive lead for me, right? Right? correct. This is a positive lead, right? We can eat crunches no problem, right? Defense drop number 1 comes through, 30% chance. We're going to go for a drill run, look to one-shot them. Boom, the opponent shields it. Move number 2 coming through. Well, I'm pretty much forced to shield now because I've got a defense drop. Crunch number 2, defense drop number 2. We're going to look to go for another move before they get to another crunch. And what's going to happen here? Yep, the opponent lets it go. And oh, let me guess, surely not another defense drop. Oh yes, another defense drop. 3 defense drops in a row. Honestly ridiculous. And at this point, I insta-swap because I'm triple debuffed and it's a Scrafty, which I should have set in against to realign. The opponent makes a very nice catch in Jellicent, and that's game over for me. Let me know if you guys enjoy these more raw commentaries. Definitely send in some Ultra League content for me to react to this week. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, it's very much appreciated, especially if you did enjoy the video. Thank you very much everybody for watching, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all tomorrow for a brand new video.